Here now with Irish rugby commentator George Hook, long-time observer of the game. George, what do you think is going to happen tonight, just off the top of your head?
I think we've got to think France are going to win. And it's a tremendous example of what can go wrong in international football. This was an Irish team that less than 6 months ago at Croke Park destroyed England. But the point was it was a bad English team coming up against a good Irish side. But what it clearly demonstrates is Eddie O'Sullivan, who coached the Eagles with Jack Clark, how important selection is. He's come to this tournament with a bad selection of squad. Nothing at number 7 and nothing at number 8. What he has also done is because he has come here with poor backup, he's been forced to play his first team in every single game. Like every other side in this tournament, even the Portuguese, the Georgians, the Namibians, and even the USA has rotated players, keeping players fit. We haven't done that. So I think we've got players coming into this game against France who, first of all, are tired. Their confidence has been hit because the 4 warm-up games have been bad. So I think we're coming in here probably in the worst state we've been for many years. Dangerous time maybe to play Ireland, you know, when everybody's writing them off. But I think that's whistling past the graveyard. I think we're hoping for a miracle. You know, we're in Paris, not in Lourdes. Miracles happen in Lourdes, not in Stade de France. So I think the French are going to win. They're going to deprive us of a bonus point. The French themselves could very easily get a bonus point, but that won't matter. The key thing for us is if we don't get a bonus point, we go to Argentina, not only looking to win, but scoring 4 tries against Argentina. That's a big ask. So what has happened is our 2 remaining games in this tournament are huge asks. It's a bit much for a side low on form, low on confidence, with a badly selected side to pull off 2 miracles. 1 is enough at any time, even for Catholics.
Now, watching that Georgia-Ireland match, I got to say it was just shocking to me to see the Georgians push the Irish pack around. How do you recover from that against what's going to be an even stronger French pack?
Well, the answer is you don't. I mean, if you look at this Irish pack, which is primarily the Munster pack in the Heineken Cup, they have always been fragile against sides who are prepared to take them on physically up front. For instance, last year in the Heineken Cup, Munster were knocked out of the Heineken Cup because Leicester savaged them up front with an Italian prop, Castro Giovanni in the 4. So therefore, this Irish team is suspect in the physical confrontation. And in 150 years of rugby, it hasn't changed. That if you don't win the physical confrontation, you don't win. 20 years ago, the US won a game in a World Cup against Japan because Ron May's side won the physical battle. And it's interesting, 20 years later, that we have just 2 victories in the USA against Japanese sides, but victories that were predicated by strong, aggressive packs. And maybe this time around, with the amount of professionalism in the rest of the world game, American, you know, the legendary American strength in the pack of American footballers isn't cutting it anymore.
What is wrong with Irish rugby at the moment that they've come in at this point, at a time when around the world people were saying, well, maybe this is a team that actually has a chance to hoist the Webb Ellis Cup, maybe this is a side that could do something in the tournament, and yet we've seen the exact opposite so far in the tourney?
Well, I don't think those of us who were close to this Irish side ever thought we were going to win it. Those of us who are close to this Irish side, who watch it routinely on a regular basis, thought our best achievement would be to make the quarter-final. Remember, because of the appalling seeding by the International Rugby Board, this group had 3 of the top 6 nations in it. Nonsense. So therefore it was always a very difficult group to get out of. Getting to the quarter-final and possibly playing New Zealand and Cardiff, I think, was the limit of our ambitions. What has happened is, and is back to the initial part of this conversation, if you select the wrong squad and ultimately you are forced to play all the same players in all the games, you're going to run into trouble. That was predictable, and it has happened. And the naysayers amongst us who said this months ago, sadly, the worst phrase in the Irish language is, I told you so.
Where are the dynamic back row players for Ireland? Are they there and they're just not selected in this team? Because I know that Leamy is a good player and Wallace is a good player, but I see them all as sixes, none of them as ball fetchers.
Well, that's the problem. We came to this tournament without a legitimate number 7. We also have come here with just one number 8 in the shape of Leamy, and we came with 4 number 6s. It was partly predicated by the fact that we don't have a lot of 7s around the place, but we do have one, an international player, Keith Gleeson, who could have made it in my view, but our problem is that the dynamic is not something that's readily available in Ireland. Remember, Irish rugby, as Sid Miller says, is always, the position is always critical but not serious. So the thing for us is that we have a small group of players who are outstanding, but it is a small group. And the interesting thing is that the scrummage, which the Southern Hemisphere countries for 10 years have tried to really emasculate in the game, in this World Cup, proven by Argentina, New Zealand and France, the scrummage is becoming important. And I'm pleased about that. It's an integral part of the game.